Okay. Hello and welcome to FTB's Town Hall meeting for July. My name is Slowpoke. I'm the founder of FTB, and we're joined this month by T-Fox, the Modpack development lead for FTB. Hello, T-Fox.
Hi.
Hi. I'm also joined by Captain Nana, who's the content manager for FTB. Hi, Captain Nana. How are you today?
Hello, yeah, not bad, thanks.
Cool. And finally, we're joined by the newest member of FTB. He's a little shy, so give him a big cheer. He's the new PR guy. His name's Leroy, and he's very, very talented. So, hello there, Leroy.
His mic's a little low, so
He's still
yeah.
not talking, is he?
No, he's really shy. He's intimidated by all the viewers.
We'll have to get him over that anyway.
Yeah.
So this month on the town hall meeting, we're going to be going over several subjects. The first of those subjects will be concerning FTB's mod packs and any technical updates that we've been going through over the last month and what we've got planned for the immediate future. We're going to briefly go over the Mod of the Month competition that we introduced last month. We're going to be talking about Minecon 2015, just a brief coverage of what happened there. And in the same vein, we're going to be talking about PAX Prime 2015. That's the event coming up in Seattle. We're going to be briefly discussing a new system that we've got for the implementation of moving the third-party mod packs that you find on our launcher over onto the Curse client. And briefly talking about a new move that we've made internally with regards to Teamspeak. And finally, we'll be finishing up with any sort of future news that we've got with regards to Curse or anything else to do with FTB, and question and answers from the people who are watching the live stream. But let's jump straight into it. I think probably the first topic, like I said, we're going to talk about today is the pack updates that we've got going on at the moment and what we've got coming up in the future, as well as any new mod packs that we've got coming as well. For this, I'll hand you over to our mod pack development lead. That's T-Fox83. Hi, T-Fox.
Hey guys. Yeah, we right now we're still developing Feed the Beast Relentless. We talked briefly about it. I believe the last town hall, maybe the one before, it is going to be more of our kind of hardcore mod pack. It's going to be focused a lot on hard progression, hard survival. So I think a lot of people have been wanting that. It'll be different than any pack we have out there now. And that's still in development. It's getting very, very close, just a few weeks out from going in the hands of the beta testers, and it'll be tested for 2 to 3 weeks, and we'll make sure there's no big bugs with it or anything like that, and we'll hope to get that out to you guys sometime shortly after PAX Prime. I'm going to be gone at PAX Prime for a week time. I don't want to push the pack right before I leave in case there's some issues I need to fix. I won't have very good access to internet and a computer when I'm out of town, so it'll probably come to you guys probably beginning of September, beginning like maybe the 10th or something like that. We don't have a hard date set on it yet, but it'll be around the beginning of December, so I'm looking forward to getting that out to you guys. We also have a few more ideas we're looking at for another mod pack following that, but we haven't set anything in stone. We've just been bouncing around a few ideas to maybe start development on something to come out after that, because, you know, as we all know, 1.7.10 isn't going anywhere for quite some time. So that's about it on new packs. Of course, the Mod of the Month pack, the new one is being developed, and the HQM stuff will start on it within a few weeks, and then they'll work on that for a couple months to make sure it's thorough and complete. We don't have the same mistakes that we had last time. We're also maintaining about 7 or 8 packs now that are out for 1.7.10. That's a lot of work, thanks to Gideon and Snowshock. They've been helping me out a lot with that. We have some big updates coming to Infinity really, really soon. I can't really talk about too much, but we've got some big things happening with Infinity, which I can't wait to be able to tell you guys what we're doing with Infinity, so that's going to be awesome. But we're still a few weeks out from discussing that. We have a lot of testing. I need to make sure everything I want to have happen happens and it works fine. So yeah, and we've got some new mods in Infinity. If people aren't aware, we have immersive engineering and extra cells added into Infinity. They're still in beta builds of Infinity right now. Unfortunately, we're going to have to pull Atomic Horizons due to a few issues we're having that we cannot resolve. It's kind of a last resort. We hate to have to pull a mod, but we have no way around it. We will have that pulled out for 1.10.0 of Infinity, which should be in public beta either tonight or tomorrow. And of course, the 2 new mods will still be in there as well. And then if we have no big bugs by this time next week or so, hopefully we'll have that as a recommended build for everybody, so servers can update and stuff like that. So that's about it on Modpack stuff at the moment. We've got tons of ideas bouncing around for sure, though.
Yeah, there's a lot of discussion going on behind the scenes, isn't there? For not just new mod pack ideas, but also evolving the existing mod packs.
Yeah.
And
yeah, we don't want to have 50 mod packs out.
No.
It just gets ridiculous at that point. But there's some, like honestly, I've been talking about with a few other guys about maybe redoing Trident. Trident's been out for 5 months now. It actually did way better than I thought it would, but I'd like to twist it up a little bit, make some changes to it, and push a Trident 2.0. Of course, if you're running a server still playing on the first one, you don't have to update. But anytime that I bump that first version number, that means I highly suggest you start a new world. That we never do that on purpose. That would never be a thing. But if I'm rebuilding a pack like Trident that had a very small player base, but we think we can make it better and we'll try something, then I'll go ahead and bump that to 2.0. And then that way it's suggested you guys would start a new world. But it comes with a map anyway, so you would just start a new map. But so we've got some ideas talking about that. And like Slowpoke said, maybe work on a few things on our older mod packs that we found out that we could have improved on, and maybe work on them a little bit. And
talk about mod packs. We had some issues last month with the Britannia mod pack.
Yes.
We think we got most of those resolved now, though.
Yes, it is out now. I actually have a build that's getting ready to go out any day now that has a few small HQM issues that was found that were fixed. Very, very small issues, nothing that prevented you from progressing. It was just a couple reward issues. Those were fixed, and I've got that build, and I just need to push it. I'm going to just push it right as recommended because it's just a couple little bug fixes. No mod updates or anything for it. It's a very small mod pack. But yeah, so far the feedback of the new Britannia mod pack has been excellent. A lot of people
plenty of good lessons learned then.
Yeah, exactly. We found out, it's next to impossible to do something like that in a month's time. There's just no way.
Absolutely.
So we've moved it to approximately every 3 months now, and it gives us a lot more time. And the next mod pack of the month is in building now. It'll just go into stable testing just to make sure, and then it'll be handed over to the literary team, and they'll do their quest. But they'll have a couple months to write those quests, which will be, that much better content for you guys.
So sort of once every quarter now, then, as opposed to one.
Yeah, we should probably change the name. It's not mod pack of the month.
Mod of the quarter.
Mod of the quarter, yeah.
Any news on the next pack on that, or is it still a bit too early to... the mod of the quarter, mod of the month.
It's Aura Cascade 1. But I don't really, we're working on a few things. Of course, that'll be the focused mod of the pack, of course. But we're working on a few things to kind of to add in to make it a little interesting. But we don't have anything set in stone yet. So.
And when do we expect the poll to go up for the next one? Is it going to be a while yet?
It'll be once this one comes out, so another couple months. Yeah.
So a couple of months.
Yeah.
That's kind of good.
Yeah, and what we're going to do is, I think what I'm going to do is start a new thread on this, on the mod pack of the month, and start getting people's suggestions on what mods they want to see in that list of 16 that actually go into voting. So we
may see a lot more diversity in the mods.
Yeah, to even have more of the influence from the community, Unfortunately, I can't put 1,000 mods up there to be voted on, but we take 16 mods and put them in a poll for 2 weeks is the way I've done it. But I'd like to have a little bit of influence from the community on what 16 mods go in there. So I think I'm going to start kind of a little suggestions thread, and we'll get all that stuff announced when I get ready to do that. I'll let you guys know. And then that way you guys can say, hey, I'd really like to see this mod be in that list of 16, and then we can take it in consideration. I think that would be a good way to do it.
We still need to make sure that the mods are capable of being
right.
mod.
Yeah,
can't just,
that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, and we wouldn't use like a conversion mod like Terraformer Craft or GregTech, something that adds just a crazy amount of content. We're reserving those for other packs.
For specialist packs,
Yeah, exactly.
I want to see Obsidian plates be mod of the month. Just to see what happens with that.
That'd be funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's coming along good, and the first rollout of the first mod of the month pack was not successful. We immediately removed it, and I feel like we fixed our mistakes, and the feedback's been good for the fixed build. So I think we recouped from that fine, and we learned a lot for it, and it'll just make the next one even better. But yeah,
absolutely.
So that pretty much covers everything Modpack related at the moment. There's a few things, like I said, internally we're discussing, but not quite ready to tell you guys yet. I don't like to tell you guys all my ideas because they don't always work. I want to make sure my idea is going to work, or our ideas are going to work, before we announce them publicly, because then you guys will say, hey, where's this and where's that? And I'll be like, oh, we couldn't get it to work. And it's easier just to make sure we know that it's going to work successfully before we talk about it publicly. But we don't like to keep you guys in the dark too long. We always hint at a lot of stuff. If you follow our Twitter and our forums and stuff, you'll see stuff about.
We've never been ones to, as I used to say right at the beginning, we've never been ones to keep secrets for the sake of keeping secrets.
Yeah, right, we're definitely right to do it, because we had a situation in Modpacks the other day, well, quite recently, where we had like a whole Modpack, and I think you basically ended up making it, and then it didn't work.
I had to scrap the whole project.
Yeah,
I had to scrap the whole project, and the funny thing is and I'll say this publicly, but it was relentless. I had to scrap the whole project. But fortunately, another pack that we're working on ended up being better, and I was like, let's use that name on this pack. It fits it even better. So that's something I wouldn't ever want to have to explain on Twitter or in the forums. I'll tell you guys since you're watching, but stuff like that happens internally a lot, and so I like to wait until we're certain this is going to work before we start hyping it up and get artwork and all that.
And that's a really good point you've just made there, actually. That, like, Relentless, I know many hours of man hours went into that, where it was, and if you realize it's not going to work, it's not going to work.
I'm able to salvage some of it for other things, but the actual whole pack in itself, it would have worked. The pack would have worked, but it was just way too similar to other things that we have. And I said,
we were working on at the same time.
Yeah, and I said, this is just dumb. It looks like we're just trying to push out content. Like we want to make sure. And we don't want to do that. Like I would rather skip a month of a mod pack to be able to produce a better mod pack than just throw a filler out there.
The great thing is what we can take stuff from that idea and evolve it into another idea that we had working.
Yeah, and I'm using a lot of the Minesweeper scripts and stuff. They're not going anywhere. I'm using a lot of them. So it wasn't all wasted. The bulk of it kind of was, but hey, that's what happens.
But I actually think what we've come out with is something that's going to be a lot more exciting down the road anyway. So
I agree. Yeah. And I think we'll be in a position in probably a month from now to be able to discuss that, and I think that'll be awesome. So
cool. Should we move on?
Yeah. We kind of covered mod of the month with all that. So I don't think we really need to discuss that any further. I will go ahead and start. I know that I wasn't a part of it, unfortunately, because of my location in the world, but I do know that FTB was at Minecon 2015, which was in London this year. It was just about a little bit. It was actually a month ago today, believe it or not. So I know that Slowpoke was there. So Slowpoke, you want to talk about what you guys did?
We actually got really lucky. Captain Allen managed to come down just before the event, but he decided to go on holiday.
Yes.
Instead of go to Minecon, which was
very nice holiday though, so it was worth it.
Yeah. But we managed to have a few drinks together and sit down and chill out and relax over the River Thames. In some very nice weather.
It was very nice, actually. Very nice food as well.
It was good times had by all.
Yeah.
Jake, who's watching the stream, he was also at Minecon, and a couple other people from FTB. Gaz, who's one of our tech support guys, and Rob, who helps Captain Nano.
Yeah.
Rob apparently is the guy who actually does all the work that Captain Nano gets credit for.
Well, no, Rob's done a lot of work for FTB over the years, and I've worked with Rob for a number.
He's been here basically as long as you have. You joined at the same time.
Yeah, me and Rob joined at the same time, but we've known each other even before that. We worked with each other at various different companies before that, and it's the first time I've ever actually been able to meet him. That's why I decided to come down and make the effort to get all the way down there.
And you got to meet up with some of the guys from Curse as well, which was very valuable. But Minecon as a whole, I think was. It was pretty fantastic. The convention itself was dominated by the panels. The panels, and I'm not just talking about the modded panels, I'm talking about panels overall. The panels this year were fantastic. I went and sat down and listened to a mod development panel that was... I learned a lot of stuff from Lex Manos, the developer of DekuCraft, Razzleberry. She was fantastic, and again, I learned a lot about that. The panels, like I said, they were awesome. We had our own panel there on the first day as part of modding, along with Jaded and Direwolf and a few others. And we half filled out this 10,000-seater hall. It was incredible. But overall, Minecon was pretty epic. It was really good, and I'm so glad that we had the chance to go there.
Yeah, I heard really good things about it. Because we were all a bit skeptical before we went, because it maybe wasn't the best organised event beforehand.
No.
But from the sound of things went pretty well. There was a lot of networking done. A lot of people were met.
Yeah, and I heard that you hosted a dinner as well, Slowpoke?
We did, yeah.
Two?
Well, there were a couple of dinners going on. So Saturday evening, we were part of a curse dinner that we got involved in, where we invited all of our friends and sort of community. And then on the Sunday night, we kind of there's a famous chef in the UK, goes by the name of Jamie Oliver. He has an Italian joint over in Canary Wharf in London. And we just sort of turned up there with 65 people on a Sunday night, unannounced. And it was actually incredible. Like, the service that those guys gave us at that restaurant was phenomenal. Absolutely. Considering the fact that they were short-staffed and weren't expecting us there, it was absolutely phenomenal. We're hoping to do that type of thing again in the future because it was very successful.
Awesome.
And a lot of good things were kind of done on that night. It was really good. And I can't wait till...
Yeah, but there's definitely some things come out of that was made it worth our while, definitely.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. If nothing else, just the ability to be able to meet up with Aya's Cupquake and Mario, who now have a pack on the FTB launcher, Cloud9, which was recently added. Two fantastic people. You could not ask to meet nicer people than those two. Unbelievably nice people. And it was great to have a chance to meet up with them. But yeah, Minecon. I can't wait for... Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to go to PAX Prime. I know that Tyler's going to be there representing, along with Chris and Watchful. Next one for me, I think, is going to be South next year. Yes. And I'm hoping we can get Nana over to America at some point next year to one of the conventions. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah, I'm pushing for Nana to go to South. Like, I'm going to help with Slowpoke on that one. We're going to push to try to make that happen.
If we can get him off in January or whatever it is.
Yeah.
We'll see.
But that would
well, that's kind of like for next year. But these things I think are really important for FTB. They put us out into the community a lot more. And
it's not, we don't really go to hang out in PAX and play new video games and stuff. We go for the networking.
Yeah, absolutely. And to meet the people.
Right.
That's I absolutely love
the other people. Like, I will say, like, when we send Chris and Watchful and people like that, it's kind of a reward to them for their work because they are volunteers. But the three of us are actually employed with Feed the Beast. So for us, it's more of a job when we go and we network and meet with people and talk to YouTubers and stuff like that. And we're constantly working the whole event.
It's great to be able to meet the people who are playing the packs as well and the people who watch the streams and that type of thing. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it really is. So, but so do we just kind of want
to?
We want to carry right into Prime while we're kind of on the subject.
So you're leading us in Prime, aren't you? Go on, Alan.
Yeah, sure. So as you've heard, we're sending Tyler, Watchful, and we got another person going to that.
We've got myself. We've got Chris. We have, which is Big Bad Chris. We have Watchful 1. We have Fireball, and we have Prog.
Yes,
so it's four people. Yeah, and then myself. So Chris, Chris and Watchful and Fireball will be running. Actually, I should take that back. Chris and Watch will be running the tournament that's going to be at PAX Prime. They're currently working on the map and everything. I can't really discuss much of that publicly. They kind of want it to be a surprise. It will be released publicly on our launcher directly after the event for you guys to play too. But it's really cool from what I've seen so far. I think it's going to be awesome.
We've got some really talented people working on it. I'm really happy with how it's
we actually have like professional builders that go around, so it's not just like a map thrown into a cave with functionality with no prettiness. So this time it's got the wow when you look at the map, which is I'm really looking forward to it.
We're trying to do something a bit more special than what we've done before. Like Tyler said, what we did before, it was essentially us guys, us three, and then somebody else working on the challenges.
Exactly.
But we're going to try and do something. It's a bit more pretty. It's a bit more of a storyline. a bit more play value.
Yeah,
than the previous ones.
And then we've got Fireball 1725 is the guy that does the mods for us that make it work in a tournament environment. He writes a mod that allows us to have a timer, it to communicate with other servers in the tournament area. So he goes on behalf of Feed the Beast to make sure all that stuff works. So he's the one kind of on the back end of things, making sure all the computers talk to each other properly, all the scores are logged on a big leaderboard, stuff like that. So he's going, and also Prague is going. He is one of our launcher developers, and he doesn't have a chance to make it to many of these events, and it did work out where we were able to get him to Prime, so he is going as a reward for his work as well. And then I'll be there as well. I'll be at the tournament. I'm not going to be doing much with the tournament. I'm leaving it to these guys to run, but I will be there hanging out. I have a few other events I'm planning on doing. I will definitely put out more information. I'm doing something FTB related on Saturday night, but I can't talk about publicly yet. But as soon as I have all the details, I will get out all that information for anybody that's there that follows FTB or wants to meet anybody from FTB, whatever. We're going to have something planned for Saturday night. And I'll have all the details, and it'll come out on our forums and on our Twitter, on my personal Twitter. I'm sure, Slowpoke will tweet it, whatever. But I'm looking forward to that. And I'll be managing that. Because Slowpoke will not be at this one, unfortunately, just because of the timing. It's really hard for him.
It's a long track.
It was just like the reasoning kind of why I didn't go to London. It's just, I live on the west coast of the United States, so it's literally a 13, 14-hour flight, an 8-hour time difference. It's the same thing of him coming to Seattle. And just for a few days, it's too hard to do. And it's extremely expensive as well. So for Slowpoke, I think the next time we'll see him in America will probably be in January in Texas.
Yeah. So for those of you next year, if you are looking next year, FTB is going to be present at PAX South, which we believe is San Antonio, late January.
Yes, it is.
PAX East, which is back to its normal time in April.
Right, and that's in Boston. Yeah.
In Boston. We will be again back at PAX Prime in Seattle, which will probably be around about the same time as this year.
Yeah, it's always around this time, yeah.
Yeah, and we will be at Minecon wherever that decides to be, if it decides to be.
That's out of our hands. But if there's
one
happening, we'll be there. Not everybody, but some people from our team will definitely. Yeah. We can't send everybody in our team. We have like 60 people on our team. It's crazy. Yeah. Unfortunately, we just can't. We only have an allotment of how much we can spend to send people to these events, and it's not cheap. It's a couple $1,000s a head to get people to these events minimally, and that doesn't include food and entertainment and all that stuff too, which we try to cover as much as possible. And Curse really makes that happen for us, which is awesome. But yeah, so we try to pick people that really have been staying out, doing a lot of work, and it's a reward for them. Like Watchful, he does all the third-party stuff. Chris has been doing all the PR and art and motion video, and he's done a lot of work for us over the past few months. Fireball's doing that custom mod, and actually he's the only one that knows how to use it, so he kind of has to be there. And then Prague, he does a lot of work behind the scenes that a lot of people don't really know, because you don't really have a need to talk to a launcher developer, but he's the guy behind that makes all that happen. So it's nice to send these guys out to these events as kind of a reward, because unfortunately we're not in a situation to be able to pay them a salary. So maybe down the road we'll be able to have some more paid salary team members, but
that's the hope.
Every little bit we can do helps, and it's nice to get those out to the
being able to send these guys out to these conventions.
And it's good on behalf of Feed the Beast. It gets our presence there. We have guys wearing our shirts, walking around the tournaments, and it's a win-win for everybody. It's awesome. So, but yeah,
Jake, he came to Minecon and he had a fantastic time. So
yeah, it's a great time. Yeah. May or may not drink a little bit, but yeah,
just a little bit, yeah,
just a little.
The occasional vodka annoying.
Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about Slowpoke and margaritas.
No. I didn't drink. I'm teetotal, mate.
How much was the whiskey that you bought in that? Bar?
It was not a cheap whiskey.
$17.50, if I recall correctly.
About 17, which actually is yeah, it's a fairly expensive shot of whiskey.
But yeah, so it's really fun to go to these events, and we love to participate in them. And yeah, so definitely, if anybody's going to Prime, keep a lookout. You guys know what I look like. I'll be with the other team members. A lot of you guys know who Fireball looks like. I'm sure both of us will have FTB or Curse shirts on, something along the similar. Also, just follow us on Twitter, and you'll know where we're at. If anybody wants to come up and meet us, don't hesitate at all.
It's also highly likely that the tournaments at PAX South and East at least will be on the Saturday.
At PAX Prime, it looks like Saturday as well. We just don't have a certain time yet. But as soon as we get a confirmation, we will announce the time.
We're already signed up for these tournaments for next year. So
yeah. So that pretty much.
So let's talk about third-party packs. On FTB, we have our third-party packs. Captain Nana has been working with the guys over at Curse to help implement a system to move these packs over to Curse if and when the Modpack developer that owns that pack chooses to. So we'll pass this over now to Captain Nana, and he can maybe give you guys a few more details on that type of thing.
Yeah, first off, I really shouldn't take any of the credit. That's all Watchful's department.
Yeah, definitely Watchful, yeah.
I try not to get involved too much with that stuff. But I'm sure quite a lot of the people watching the stream have third-party packs hosted on our launcher. What this new system allows you to do is to contact us. All the details on how you can do that are on the forums. You can contact us and we'll get your pack transferred over to the new Curse client. It's something we've been working on for quite a long time, but as you can appreciate, it's quite a complicated thing to do. It's a totally different new system.
We should give some credit to Zeldo as well, the guy who's actually wrote the script that does this. I mean, so we should give him a bit of credit over at Curse.
He gets paid, so it's fine though.
Yeah, I know that.
But no, it seems to be working quite well.
Now
we've had a few teething problems, but from what I've heard, we're just about there now.
It sounds like they've got most of them sorted out.
Yes,
We don't remove the packs from the Feed the Beast launch. They're still accessible on both. You still update everything in the same way.
Yeah.
It literally is just a simple sync system.
Yeah, we never remove packs unless the Modpack author comes to us and says, "Hey, can you remove my pack?" Then we would, but we never remove them on our own.
I think the system we've got for it is quite good, though. I'm definitely happy with how it is.
I think it's really good for the guys, isn't it? Like the process of moving a pack from our launcher to their launcher is so seamless now that.
Yeah, it's working really, really well. And I'm just going to kind of throw something in there. I've had a lot of people come to me asking. There are some people that don't want to move their packs to Curse, and they've been asking me what's going to happen when we get rid of our launcher. And it's okay to say publicly what we're going to do, correct?
I don't know what you think it is because there's.
Well, for third-party packs that do not want to move over to Curse, or for older third-party packs that people still play, like 1.6 packs all the way back to like 1.2, really old mod packs, our launcher will be unbranded and still available, and it will be working but no longer supported, and no official packs will be on there. You'll still be able to get and download the launcher from a very, very small link somewhere. We don't have all the logistics of it worked out just yet. But like I said, it'll be unbranded, unsupported, but the packs will still be, the old third-party packs will still be available for people.
That's exactly what's happening, yeah.
Okay, cool. That for people that do not want to switch over to Curse for unknown reasons, or, they just simply want to play somebody's third-party pack that is no longer maintaining it or something, they will still be available. Our official packs will be actually removed. When we're finally ready to fully move, our packs will come completely off. So you will not be able to access our packs anymore. But yeah, so that's the plan with that. But that is quite a ways out, and we'll talk more of that as it gets closer. But I have had a lot of people ask me that question, so I just wanted to.
We're not going to leave these guys in the lurch. There's always going to be something to support them in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Exactly.
Exactly. I do think that the new Curse system that they have implemented for making those packs is absolutely fantastic. It's come on £80 in the past few months. Honestly, if I was going to be making a third-party pack now, I'd probably be putting it through the Curse system. It's that much more convenient to use.
Mm-hmm.
There are some people who still have a few issues, but
there are still some issues.
It's in beta, it's in beta, and there are
going
to be
issues. It's a fantastic system, and by the end of it, it will be incredible. So the away end, just to be very clear, we've always said this, right? Mac will absolutely be supported.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's not even a question about Mac. And with regards to Linux, there will always be a solution. It may not be part of the Curse client, but there will always be a solution that will enable you to download the FTB packs via Linux. We can't say what it is yet because we don't know, but there will be a solution. That's the commitment we made.
Well, what we have at the moment, it looks like we might end up with the whole client working on Linux. We can't confirm it, but
we don't know yet for sure.
Yeah, I'd say it's almost a 90% chance you're going to see it through Curse, but there is still that 10% chance if it's not going to work, then we will have a solution in place by the time we retire our launcher.
Yeah, there's definitely always going to be a way to use it on all the systems that we currently support.
But Mac, as of 100%, will be available with the Minecraft functionality, just like Windows.
Mac isn't even a remote question. Like,
right.
Our launcher is going nowhere whilst Mac isn't supported. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, it's in a contract. If they decide not to do it, then we'll keep our launcher up. You know, which we're not worried about at this point. We've seen their progress on the Mac client, and it's coming along very nicely.
It's almost done, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to answer your question very quickly, Angus, because I want to get to the questions at the end of this. FTB isn't going away. We're just refocusing back to what we started off with, which was on mod packs and that type of thing. The launcher, if you know anything about FTB's history, the launcher always came later on in our story. Our original focus was on mod packs. Moving over to Curse's client enables us to refocus on that. And I think that decision has already started to pay dividends. I think the packs that we're putting out these days with T-Fox behind them are a much higher standard than anything that's ever been put out by anybody before. And that's just me bigging up T-Fox because I think he deserves it.
Oh, thank you.
But we can get to questions and answers at the end. I think the next thing we kind of want to get involved with is something that doesn't really involve many people who are watching this, but it may involve some of you. For a long time, we've had a Teamspeak server, which everybody has always been welcome to come and join on. We've recently moved our Teamspeak server onto some new hardware basically just to make sure that we have a stable connection as often as we possibly can. That work has been mostly done by T-Fox and Captain Allen and a few other people, and we can let them very quickly sort of talk to you about what's been going on there.
Yeah, so we put our Teamspeak on well, I shouldn't say we put our Teamspeak. We got a new box for our Teamspeak, and I started thinking about it, and I said, our permissions, so many people have touched the permissions, and there's so many people that aren't even using the Teamspeak anymore. There's so many FTB staff that aren't FTB anymore. It's like, we need to clean this whole thing up. And so I just went to Captain and I said, hey, how do you feel if I just start from scratch? And he was like, go for it if you want to do it. So I spent 2 days and redid the permissions from the ground up. My plan initially was to bring over all the identities from the database of the old one. But we started thinking about it. We're like, you know what? It'd be better. Let's just start fresh and assign identities or assign ranking to people as they request it when they come on. And it's gone very smoothly. We now have actual moderators for TeamSpeak. They have as many permissions as a server admin, except they just can't touch permission system, obviously. But they're able to handle the day-to-day stuff like the ranking. If you need something done with your channel, if you need to delete your channel, something along those lines, they can help out with that stuff. They're the ones that have the big purple M's next to their name. They're able to help you guys with anything. Non-guests or guests that come in and non-members are able to PM them and ask for a rank. All the guidelines are up in the top of the TeamSpeak in the channel descriptions on what is required. We also recently got a little bit stricter on our ranking policy. Before, with so many people being able to rank people, there really was no guideline between all the people that were allowed to rank. We didn't really have a common guideline on who deserved what rank. So basically, with the suggestion of some of the current moderators and myself and Slowpoke and Nano, we decided, let's set a requirement to be able to get these ranks, so they're a little more fair for people that deserve them. So all those requirements are up in the headings. You can, where there's a big thing that says click here for rank info. It'll tell you the requirements for the mod developers, approved developers, media, stuff like that. It's not just if you have a channel or a Twitch. We're actually looking for active YouTube and Twitch with minimum requirements, and also that you're constantly uploading not constantly, but regularly uploading FTB related content. So you can't just create a Twitch channel and have no followers and get a media tag anymore. because the media tag does give you a little bit of extra perks on the TeamSpeak. You bypass some push-to-talk stuff. You're able to create channels for your media groups and stuff, and we don't want everybody to be able to do that because it clutters up the people that really need it. So
yeah, those perks are there because those people need it. They're not there to make you feel like you're more important than a non-media person or anything like that.
Yeah, so many people just want to try to get as many ranks as possible, and you know, so we need to set a little bit of guidelines on it. So we have that in place. So if you did used to have a media rank and you get rejected from having it, it's probably because you don't meet the guidelines now. So just have a look at those. And if you guys haven't been on the TeamSpeak, and it's been up for just over a week now, if you guys haven't been on the new TeamSpeak, be sure to come on, just PM a moderator and let them know that, you know, if you're media, send them a link to your channel. If you're a developer, send them a link to your mod, whether it be on Curse or like the Minecraft forums, and they'll get you your tags back. And if not, you can just request for a member tag if you don't meet any of those requirements. And, you know, we don't have a problem. And, you know, so we can get your rankings back. So, and the TeamSpeak's been extremely stable. I just checked the network logs this morning. We've had 0 packet loss since day one of it going online, which we were having quite a few issues before. I know a lot of people were leaving our old TeamSpeak because it was very unstable. I constantly got a lot of complaints that it would go down late at night in America for people. And packet loss was extremely bad for times, you know, throughout the day. So that has all been, to my knowledge so far, according to the logs, we have not had a single issue with that. So that's really good. We also have plugins now installed on the back end of TeamSpeak. I installed a plugin that if you create a room and it's non-active for the 30-day period, like you don't log into it in 30 days, the room will be deleted. So it'll just help to keep our TeamSpeak kind of clean, you know, where you don't have to go through hundreds of channels that aren't used anymore to find a channel that you created or something. So just little things like that to help, you know.
If we remember, we'll put a link to the TeamSpeak on the bottom of the YouTube video as well. Because anybody's free to join. It's a public TeamSpeak. There's no password.
Yeah, we remove the password. If you still have the password in your bookmark, you can still obviously connect. But we found out we really don't even know why there's a password on day one. So we removed the password, and and everybody said so far that the new TeamSpeak's been great. There's been no issues, so it's just really good. I noticed everybody's pings are tremendously lower on this new TeamSpeak. Most pings are up into 300 to 400s on the old one. And
I think that's just because of the move, honestly, with the people that you'd be speaking to. Like I'm still getting like 200 ping, but that's just 'cause I'm UK and the server's US.
Yeah,
it was in the UK before. It was.
Well, I was even people like in London were saying they were getting 200 to where it was, and now they're getting less when it's in the United States. Like, it's weird.
Yeah.
But either way, it's definitely, it was something that we've been needing to do for a long time, and the hardest part about it was honestly just finding the time to do it. It's not an easy part. Those permissions are not something you can just throw together in 5 minutes. It was literally like 10 hours of just doing the permissions, and we're still finding bugs, of course. You know, if you find a little bug, like something that you don't think you should be able to do or something that you think you should be able to do, just let a moderator know, and we have a live document that the moderators have direct contact with me, and we can get those features.
It's still very early days. We're still working on it, but you know, it's coming on very, very quickly.
Yes, so that's probably.
Should we talk about that thing I read at the bottom, or do you want to leave that?
We can, but let's just, you know, we'll continue, and then we can talk about before.
I just wondering when you want to put it in.
Oh yeah, well, you want to do it now?
Yeah, because it kind of it's like it's still related to it.
Go ahead.
I don't know if everybody knows this. We've T-Fox and I and a few other people have been playing on a new server, which officially goes by the name of FTB1, or unofficially by the rather affectionately named T-Bone server, which is basically a server that we're going to be using for testing the very latest versions of FTB Infinity, and if there are any potential changes we may want to make in the future, we are testing them on that server as well. T-Bone is a server that we've kind of like got together on some really high-end equipment, which
it's actually been around since before Infinity even came out.
But it's kind of getting to that thing now. A lot of people are playing on it, and we have several streamers that are playing on. For those of you on YouTube, we'll see if we can get links to all those streamers. We All Playcast is on there. Runewolf is on there. I'm on there. T-Fox is on there, some of the FTB staff, Watchful, Gaz, and that, a few of us are on there. And it's a really good server with some great content coming out of it now. And if you guys are interested in watching any of that, we'll get some links for you for some of the streams that are on there. But I think most times of the day now, there's somebody streaming live.
Yes, and it is. I just want to go ahead and reiterate too, is we have to say it all the time, but it is an invite-only server.
Yeah.
There's no applications or requirements or anything. We have 4 active admins that run the server, and we don't.
Of course, Quetzy. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, we don't. It's not a thing you can apply for. It's a server. It's for Feed the Beast, but it's also for friends of ours in the community. So it's like I said, it's invite only. We get that question so many times.
What's really good as well is we've been using that server to identify problems and solutions for server stability that we're taking over into the actual mod pack and advice that we're giving to server owners as well. And it's been really good for helping us to identify problem areas and solve them. We're doing a lot of profiling of various mods and stuff like that we wouldn't normally be able to do because we've got some very advanced builds on there now.
That was kind of the thinking when we first put it up as well, to be honest. We wanted to... me and Tyler used to run servers a long time ago, but we haven't since, a very long time. I couldn't even tell you the last time that we ran a server.
I ran a big one in 1.6 about a year ago.
1.6, yeah. I don't even think I've ran one since then, honestly.
But this isn't a big server.
That was your last one, wasn't it, Nan?
What was that, sorry?
Was it 147, your last big one?
I think it probably was, yeah. It was maybe even before that.
Yeah, our FTB one isn't a big server because it's not public. I ran big public servers, and they are kind of a PIA. They really can be. But this is a completely private server, so I don't have to worry about like griefing and block loggers and all that, like protections and stuff like that, which is a nice thing not to have to worry about. But it still requires work almost daily to keep a server of that size up. It's not running vanilla. If it was running vanilla with a small private community, it's almost a set it and forget it kind of thing. But with all these mods, but I can say we haven't had a crash in weeks,
I certainly don't see a reason why we couldn't give the profiling data out. Certainly in a
what do you mean the data?
Like what it is that's causing problems and stuff like that, I guess. I suppose we could repackage that into something that would give suggestions of things that they should do or could do.
I wouldn't like to say anything because there's some mods that are going to be getting used more at certain times, and of course they're going to be using more resources because they're getting used more.
I will say
it seems like a lot of finger pointing to me.
If the profiling data,
I'm more along the things of like T-Fox and I, we've made decisions to knock chunk loaders down to 24 hours. And that
48
has made
hours, but
48 hours. And that made a massive difference. The instant we did that, it made a huge difference to the server. And those are the kind of things that we could kind of give advice on that people may not be doing at the moment.
Well, anytime anybody comes to me and says, I want to have an Infinity server and I want to have 10 people in it, I tell them, don't allow chunk loading, flat out, don't allow it. Because Infinity is a big mod pack. And the type of server we have ours on is provided by Curse. We probably wouldn't be able to afford to pay for it. It's a very high-end server with multiple GPUs, 64 gigabytes of RAM. I mean, not
multiple
GPUs, CPUs, I'm sorry. 64 gigs of RAM on like triple solid state and RAID 0 for performance. I mean, it's a very, very high-end server. So it can handle like a lot of things, but when you go get a VM or even a small dedicated server, I highly suggest, really be strict on chunk loading because that's the biggest thing that kills servers.
And age creation.
And yes, other dimensions.
Age creation.
Yeah, whether it's RF tools or Mistcraft. I mean, everybody knows the world gen in 1.7 is pretty
It's
tough.
not so bad if you've got these ages like that in extra utility and that, where it's a predefined age and you've got that age and that's it. But when you've got this ability to create unlimited amounts of ages like you have in a couple of mods, that can cause some issues, and there are ways to limit that, of course. But that's your role as a server admin. But to answer your question, yes, there are things we could maybe help to advise people on in your server more efficiently.
If I find an issue with a mod, like if it's leaking memory or something, I go right to that mod developer and we get it fixed. I mean, so there's no point in me sharing that information out there,
No.
We just found an issue.
Take a question from the chat though, just because it's relevant at the moment. which I've just lost. We are still working on. We mentioned it before in one of our town halls. We are still working on getting a recommended server specs.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's something we're still working on. It's obviously not an easy thing to do because we don't want to give out the wrong information or.
Yeah, and I will say too, on the recommended server specs, that will include no chunk loading, like no forced chunk loading, because we just can't, and we'll have that as a disclaimer. But yeah, we cannot, because chunk loading is so hard on servers. It really is. And the way I feel about it is I'm against chunk loading. I feel like that if you are offline and your computer shut down, you shouldn't be using resources on a server that takes from other people that are trying to play. Like I shouldn't have my base lagging out Slowpoke while he's trying to play when I'm out having beers at a bar. Like if I'm actively playing on the server and I'm logged in and I'm causing lag, it's a little bit different, because I shouldn't be taking up resources on a server when I'm not logged in. I don't think that's fair to other players. So I'm against it personally. But unfortunately, with Infinity, there are a few things that chunk loading does help with, and so that's why we allow them in a limited fashion on our server.
I mean, at the end of the day, the reality is like the best way to solve lag on your server is have your players play responsibly.
Yeah, exactly.
If your player, a really good example of this, if you have your player who's playing like with Steve's Factory Manager and they have a simple program, that's absolutely fine. If they have a massive, huge Steve's Factory program with tons of instructions and stuff like that, that's going to put a strain on your CPU. So that's all about player responsibility.
Same thing with Applied Energistics. Don't make a massive, huge AE2 auto-crafting system on server. Save it for your single player.
Don't do what Sorin did, basically.
Right. Yeah. Whenever I run our profiler, Applied Energistics takes just about 25% of our CPU power goes to that mod solely. And we don't have very big systems.
Always peer-to-peer tools.
And we don't have very many big AE systems on our server.
No.
So it creates a lot. It's a lot of processing power. And so if you're playing on a server, just keep that in mind. Try to build things that really aren't necessary. I know they're fun to build, crazy big wild contraptions, kind of the point of Infinity, but just have respect for the server when you build them, and that'll really help your server go a lot farther. Because everybody's like, oh, I have Infinity, our world's only lasts a month, blah 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 blah. But if you have admins that kind of stay on top of it a little bit, I mean, we're a couple months into our world, and we're still 20 TPS every day. Of course, if somebody's generating some training Twilight Force, it might bounce down for a few minutes or something, but we come right back up. And if there's an issue, we'll profile it and we'll find out exactly what's causing. Opus is something that's shipped with a pack. I ship it with a pack. It's disabled by default, but it is shipped with a pack. All you gotta do is flag it on your server, flag it on your client, connect to your server, run /opus, and that is the most powerful profiler that's free and everybody's able to use, and it's built right into Infinity. And I highly suggest if you get lag, run that to see, because a lot of times you might think something's causing lag and it's something completely opposite. A couple worlds ago, we were getting crazy lag and we thought it was quarries and all this stuff. Come to find out, it was a Petch Voyager from Thaumcraft that was picking up eggs, and he had like 10,000 eggs in its inventory, and it was bringing the TPS of the server down to 8.
We've had some funny things, haven't we?
And that's all it was. Like, yeah, and most recently, something we would have never found was we had a player. I'll mention his name because he's on our team, but it was Watchful. He had this massive, huge hungry node, and he was feeding it thousands of wooden swords every minute and just trying to let it grow. And it was so hard on the server, which hungry nodes are kind of known to be.
I'm not sure that was the hungry node or the fact that wooden swords didn't stack and they were just.
Yeah, I don't know. But we disabled it and it fixed the lag.
And that fixed a problem like that. And then we had the cow farm the day later, which was like, oh my God.
But yeah, so I highly suggest
1,200 cows in a little fenced off area.
Yeah, so I highly suggest use Opus. If you're an admin on a server, make sure to enable Opus server side, and your client, the other players don't need to have Opus on their client to connect, which is really nice. But if you're an admin, enable it on your client. And run it and profile your servers every few days. And even if stuff isn't causing lag, it'll still point you in the direction of what's taking up, has the highest update time on your server, whether it's somebody's sloppy mob farm or, a lot of times things that cause lag are people, because we're working with so many mods, people don't realize they're causing lag. It might be, placement of a hopper somewhere. It could be something super simple that just doesn't get along with something and it creates lag. And like I said, Opus is your best friend with that, and it's included with a pack. So and if you run a big server and you want to invest the money in a profiler and stuff like that, you can get real fancy with it, but it's not worth it really for Minecraft, to be honest. We have a really high-end profiler. I find myself using Opus more than that. But yeah, and Opus is extremely accurate. At least from what I've seen, it works really well. So
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's a good mod, yeah.
So let's see. We've talked enough about that. Let's. I think we have just a couple small things to cover on the FTB shop. Slowpoke.
Yeah, I think Chris has just asked us to kind
Yeah.
of say got some new stuff coming in the next few days.
So Leroy's going to talk about that.
Well, I mean that's pretty much it. Chris has got some new stuff coming on the FTB storefront in the next few days. If you're interested in FTB merchandise, I think we can get a link up for you guys to go and check it out. Or there's a link on the shop. On the website. Also, we've now got the system in place. I believe Chris is managing all of this, where if you're a mod developer or a YouTuber or whatever, and you have T-shirts that you want to promote through our storefront, he has a system now where he can do that.
Well, yeah, he'll have it where you will be able to, if you're a mod developer or want to have merchandise,
He'll do the artwork for you and promote it. And
or you can provide it. There's different options, but he will hopefully by the end of this month have a system in place where you can apply.
But he's working on that.
He's working on it. It's not ready yet. You could see
I know there's a couple of mod developers that are up now. He's working with closely.
Yeah, and that was just because of more of a friends thing, and we kind of wanted to test and see how it went. But now he's going to work on a system where anybody can apply to have merchandise put onto the store. So, and then you'll be able to get all the terms and conditions of that when you apply for it. But yeah, so that's
I think that covers everything we wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I think that's everything.
Yeah.
We've got some questions from the audience out.
Yeah, let's bring them up.
Yeah, you can, if you want to bring them up.
Nana, if you want to kind of host that section for us, that'd be great.
Yeah,
I do
sure,
not
no
have
worries.
those questions up. So
Yeah, I've got them now, yeah. First one's a question for Tyler.
okay.
How many people are normally involved in making a mod pack?
Wow.
Well, it depends how far you want to go. As far as the actual development side, when you start and you get a working mod pack, it's usually just a couple. But when you think of an FTB pack from the starting process to it being released public owner launcher, it could be 100 people because we have
Maybe
beta
you could
testers.
just talk us through that process a little bit, Tyler. What's involved in making that mod pack?
Well, first we come up with the idea, and I do it old school. I have a notepad and pen and paper, and that's how I come up with my ideas. I jot them all down, and then I'll go to Slowpoke or somebody else and say, hey, what do you guys think of this idea? And they'll be like, it's stupid, or they'll be like, it's great, let's do it. Or we'll just kind of be like, we'll see, and we'll add it to a maybe list down the future. And then from there we do usually I pretty much do that side of it. If I'm going to be, some packs are different. Like for Departed, Watchful was the lead of the pack, even though I'm the overall lead, but he was kind of assigned lead to that pack, so I didn't really touch it. Same thing for Horizons. Gideon was lead of that pack. But for Infinity, for example, I sat down and I put together a mod list. I then took that mod list over to Slowpoke and said, what do you think of this? And he said, it looks great. How about adding this, or how about removing this? And we just kind of put our heads together. We got a list. And then I downloaded the mods, so just like you guys do. I went to Curse, downloaded them. The ones that weren't on Curse, I found them, and put together a pack. Left everything pretty much default in the configs. Launched it, got a few crashes, fixed the configs, launched it again. And then I said, okay, now I need to kind of balance it and profile it a little bit. So I went through and flagged some configs that aren't really needed. For example, when I profile it, I get rid of things that aren't really needed that really affect clients. And one would be the Mind Factory loaded sounds. Those really hurt clients. Same thing with particle effects, and they're really not needed for anything. So I always disable those in our official packs. That little bit of stuff makes your client be able to handle it so much better. So I spent a few hours doing that. And then it pretty much from that point, if it's not a custom pack where I'm not adding Mindtweaker recipes and stuff, I'll go ahead and push it right into testing. We'll do a very early alpha test. We'll throw in some beta testers. We'll give them creative. They'll play around for a little bit. They'll spawn stuff in, whatever. And then after that, once we don't find any big issues with the mod list we have, we'll go ahead and throw it into a proper beta test. We'll throw beta testers in on a server. They'll be in survival, and they'll actually play through as much as the pack as possible to look for any type of balance issues or cross mod conflictions or anything like that. And once we kind of get the go ahead, and once we feel that everything is stable enough, that's when we will I'll do the final package on it. I'll get it on the repository. We'll get our artwork ready for it, and we'll about a week later release it to you guys. We don't push it the day we're ready. We like to announce it publicly, maybe do a little hype on it, whatever, and then it gets put out. Then once the pack's put out, then it goes into an update stage, and I constantly follow bug reports along with a couple other people that help me out, and we try to get as many of the bugs fixed as possible, whether they're on our end or a mod developer's end. We'll get them fixed, and the pack stays like that for a few months, and the pack kind of goes into what I kind of made this up, but I call it like a maintenance mode. I put the pack in maintenance mode, and once it's entered maintenance mode, that means we're not like adding mods, we're not making big changes, we're just kind of keeping it up to date. And I usually have other people handle that for me. I'll okay the update and I'll push it out as a beta, and then move it to recommended if nothing big comes up. But right now, Infinity has probably been the longest pack that it's not in maintenance mode. Infinity probably will never go in maintenance mode. It's kind of like my baby. I can't believe we've already got like 40 versions of Infinity out. It's just crazy.
Wow, I didn't know that.
To put that in perspective, Ultimate had 9 in its lifetime. So Infinity is...
Like I said, though, FTB Infinity was a whole new step up in the whole process. Like, I mean, when we say, like, T-Fox said there's maybe 100 people involved in the process of FTB Infinity, he's not exaggerating there. There's, like, when you take it from, like, me and T-Fox and the core team of people that are involved in the process to the beta testers, to the wiki team, because these are all people that are actually involved in it. We've got art from Chris that comes into it, Gaz, who's in the chat. He's tech support. He's also involved in it. We've got Bike Step, who does the change logs for the pack. You know, the list just goes on and on and on of the things that are, the people that are connected to this pack in one form or another.
Yeah, unfortunately, Infinity is not a very hard pack to develop because it is kitchen sink, and we did it default for the reason of, you know, that's what Infinity was meant to be. Infinity's not meant to be hardcore and custom and forced progression and stuff. Infinity's just meant to, like the description says, it caters to the most amount of people as possible. So it really wasn't hard to build Infinity. I built it in like 4 hours. I went to Gideon and said, hey man, you want to throw together some Origin for me? He said, sure. He threw together Origin. I did all the configs. I balanced a few things, and it was like 4 hours later, we threw it on a server. Me and Slowpoke jumped on the server, and we both said to each other, like, I feel like I could play this pack. And he said, yeah, me too. And that's what started the FTB1 server, was that actual world started the thing. It was pretty wild. But yeah, so it's a long process. You know, we don't build a pack. Well, I can build a pack overnight sometimes, but it doesn't mean it's a pack ready for you guys. It takes months to get a pack from the very first idea to a public released FTB official pack. It's not an overnight process by no means, and we never rush stuff like that. And I'll show you a good example as we rushed Modpack of the Month Britannia, and then look what happened.
Yes,
that's a perfect example.
Something we've always said at Feed the Beast is don't make something that you don't want to play.
Exactly, exactly.
We've done it in the past, to tell you the truth, and it's never as good if you don't want to play. If you put it on a server, and like you said, Tyler, you want to play it, then it's worth doing. And
I think that's why Infinity is like my baby, because I play it like, I mean, and Slowpoke can tell you because he plays on the server with me. I play it a lot. I've been out of town the past few days, so I haven't been logged on in 4 or 5 days. But probably after his town hall, I've got to work on point 10 of Infinity. I'm gonna play on the server some, like, you know.
Yeah, it's a really annoying thing because Infinity is such a good mod pack.
Yeah.
That we don't want to play anything else.
I know.
Like. And it is an actual thing. Like, I had to go out my way today to play Vanilla Plus.
But you were bored. Vanilla Plus is fun, but I know you're really addicted to Infinity, and so am I.
Yeah, Infinity is driving me, because I'm spending so many hours of my life playing that mod pack right now.
The one thing
months old.
Yeah, I love Infinity because it's such a huge pack. But even like my laptop that's 3 years old, I can still go sit in my recliner in the living room and play Infinity. You know, that wasn't an option like for me with Monster. You know, it was either my desktop or nothing, you know. So I really do like that. And Infinity's not quite the size of Monster. Monster had a few more mods, but it's you feel like there's plenty of content there that you'll probably never touch, but it's not too overwhelming, but it's nice because a little bit of older systems can play. Now, really old systems, unfortunately, you know, it is a heavy mod pack, but it is nice.
Jakujevic, I think this is probably not an unfair answer. He was asking how many hours work goes into a first recommended version. Would you say 1,000 man hours is unreasonable?
A first recommended version.
I'd say 1,000 man hours.
Well, yeah, if you include, like, if you break down everybody.
If you break down the beta testing.
I mean, there's 20 people testing the pack for 6 hours a day. Like, yeah, that's 20 times 6 for just one day. Yeah, and I mean, I'm constantly touching it every day during development.
I was just trying to kind of roughing it in. Like, you got a few hours on artwork, a few hours on maybe 10 hours on the initial setup or the beta. I'd say 1,000 man hours is not an unreasonable estimate for a mid-sized.
Yeah,
FTB
I mean, and if you look back on since Infinity started development, which was the day after we got home from PAX South, we started Infinity. If you look back and then till now, with you know, as many versions have come out and as much testing, it's well over a couple thousand man hours now. You know, that's just gone into that pack since day one. You know.
Oh god, yeah, and then some.
And then, like, I know I'm playing on the server and having fun, but I treat it as kind of work.
It's still a job. I mean, we're doing bug testing and
Right.
mod fixing and all sorts of stuff.
There's a few things I'm doing on the server that if I was just playing for fun, I probably wouldn't do, but I'm doing them on purpose because I've never done them and I need to kind of learn a few things, and then I'm finding some bugs. Yeah, well, I like logistics spikes, but there are a few things that, like, I don't really normally do. Like, I'm actually getting ready to start Thaumcraft, and I haven't done it since like 1.4, and I'm kind of looking forward to it, but it's probably something I really wouldn't do in a normal like playthrough on a server. But I feel like since I am the lead developer of the pack, I probably should get to know as many of the mods as possible in there inside and out. So when somebody comes to me saying, hey, this isn't working right, I know what they're talking about. Because if you come right now and say your Arcane Infusion isn't working, I'm going to be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So I need to familiarize myself as much as possible with all the mods. So playing helps, you know, and and Slowpoke and I have been doing a lot of that the past few weeks. He's got he streams it. He's been streaming it 5 days a week. I think you said today you didn't stream it, but
no, we did this morning.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I did 2 hours this morning and 3 hours of Vanilla Plus this evening.
Yeah, so if anybody watches the stream doesn't know what Infinity is or whatever, definitely check out Slowpoke streams. He streams 5 days a week and pretty much all the time streams from that
Tuesday,
server.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, from 12 p.m. UK time or British Standard Time till about 6 p.m. British Standard Time. I'm on that. Radisson or Wheel Playcast with his partner Hermie.
Yep.
There in the night, as is Quetzy. Runewolf is normally on from 10 till 3 in the day UK time. So there's always, there's plenty of people that are going on there. I was going to say a very quick, if there are server owners on here, something we worked out the other day, a suggestion that was made to us that we implemented very quickly. If your server is more than a week or two old, do yourself a favor, shove a community ender tank or whatever in creative mode with lava hidden somewhere and let everybody access it instead of wrecking your nether. That will help.
Yeah, and I will say we did do a profile a few days ago and we were getting a lot of our update time was coming from, it wasn't causing lag, but it was pretty close to causing lag. We had like 13
get rid of your endothermic pumps.
Endothermic pumps, yeah, running in the nether. And for some reason, I remember back in 1.6, they only used to load the chunk they're in and then the chunk they're pumping, but now they load like a 7x7 chunk, which isn't ideal. The quarries still only load the chunk they're working in, the chunk the quarry block itself is in, but endothermic pumps don't work like that anymore. So next thing you know, we had like 400 chunks force load in the nether. And, there's a lot of ticking things that happen in a chunk, from entities to mobs and stuff like that. It wasn't necessarily the pump itself causing the lag, but it was all the other stuff that the pump was loading causing the lag. So we went ahead and got rid of those. I took a creative tank from Thermal Expansion, threw lava in it, hooked it up to a public orange, non-diamond locked ender tank, and then all you have to do is your players just have to craft that ender tank and they have access to lava.
Yeah, and they've just got access to it, and it'll just make your life so much easier.
It does, and it's so much friendlier server. And I mean, to be honest, the endothermic pump will give you so much lava anyway. It's almost infinite, and all you gotta do is just go move it somewhere else. And then another nice thing too is it keeps your nether a little bit cleaner.
It's not changing your balance, or rather, the amount of balance that it is changing compared to the benefits to your server.
Yeah. It's worth it.
It's well worth it.
Yeah. I'm one that's against like the lava power and stuff like that. I'm actually kind of guilty of it now, but I don't really like it.
Says the guy who's feeding all these mana from lava.
I know. Well, I'm actually using a couple magmatic dynamos at my base now.
That's a player's choice, isn't it? The game's only as unbalanced as the player chooses.
And that's what the whole thing of Infinity is. It's you as the player create your balance, because there is some exploits and stuff, and it's just the balance came by the mods we selected, but of course there's a few exploits and there's a few ways to get around a few harder things, and that's just because it's such a huge pack.
But there's nobody with a big stick hitting you over the head saying you will exploit this pack. You choose to do that.
Right. If you want to be the player that exploits everything, oh yeah, you can do it in Infinity, but you just ruin the game for yourself at that point.
You'll be shocked, Booger Bomb. We actually compared the recipe of an Ender tank to the recipe of an endothermic pump, and they're very, very similar.
Yeah, well, the Ender tank requires 4 blaze rods, and so then you have to actually go to Nether and kill some blazes. The endothermic pump only requires 1 blaze powder, which you can just get from deserts because of Thaumcraft, so we decided to keep it as a tank.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could use an IC2 trade station or whatever you guys want. It's up to you. But
should we crack on?
Yeah, let's keep going.
What's the next one?
Yeah. Just coming back to Modpack development, Tyler, what are your main considerations when you're making a pack? What things are important?
Well, the first thing is, depending on what we want the pack to be about, is of course the very most important thing is your mod list selection. What mods. Another thing that's extremely important, which is the hardest thing to do when developing a mod pack, is you need to know when enough is enough. That's the hardest thing, especially with like Infinity and Vanilla Plus. You have to finally put your foot down and say, okay, no more mods. It's really hard to do. There's like 20 more mods I'd love to see in Infinity. I get suggestions all the time from people. Yeah. Right, and then we get Monster, and then you get a mod pack you can't play. Even people with powerful gaming PCs are going to have a hard time. So, you have to know when to call it quits. Another really important factor is I do have quite a few mods that I don't pair with other mods because they're very big known exploits, and there's no way to get rid of those exploits without heavily modifying the mod, which in the case of like Vanilla Plus, where we didn't care if we modified stuff, it was okay. But in a case of like Infinity, I want you to be able to go, the whole point of Infinity is I want you to be able to go to a wiki and look up Railcraft and it be set up on Infinity the same way it is on the wiki. And so that's why we don't change stuff in Infinity. But there are some mods out there, some packs that we do change a lot of stuff. So that's another pretty big important step. And then, I would say that's probably like the 2 most important things for me is your mod
defining
list
your vision is like
yeah.
If you don't have your vision, then there's no like me and Tyler and Captain and that we sat down for a long time just discussing Infinity. Never mind the other more special. Like, we sat down for hours and hours.
Yeah, and if you log in, and if you log in and start up a world and you're not feeling it within 15 minutes, it's not good. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, I will say that myself and Slowpoke and even Nana, which doesn't even really play Minecraft much anymore, when we logged into Infinity and started testing, like, it was just something about it. It was like, we knew. And Slowpoke immediately said, I could see this as being like a fun server for us to play on as staff. And that's what started FTB1, like I said before. So, if you're getting that feeling, then you got something, And if you like it, other people are going to like it. If you don't like it, it's not saying nobody else is going to like it, but it's probably not going to be as successful. And if you don't like it, you're not going to have the drive and the motivation to do it good, Yeah,
I think for me, the most important thing when we're developing a mod pack, not just the production process, but the beta testing system that we have in place now is the single greatest advancement that we've ever had. When it comes to
stability is so important for us now.
Oh, yeah.
You're absolutely right, Nana. The ability to profile these packs correctly and get a team in there and rip these mods apart and throw them back together and see what sort of mess comes out and then clean it all up.
They do a great job.
So good. Yeah, they're amazing.
It's weird, and I do packs. Everybody builds packs differently. Everybody updates packs differently. Everybody does things completely differently. I do a really weird way to update a pack, but it's proven to be pretty good. And the way I do it is I start the pack over every time. I know it sounds really weird, but I start with no mods. And then I get all the current versions of recommended mods when I do an update. And then I redo all the configs. That way, mod authors that aren't very good with their configs, it regenerates a fresh set of configs. And then I have notes, and I use a comparative program on my computer that lets me know. I can take the old file, compare it to the new file, and tell me what biomes IDs I've changed, what dimension IDs I've changed here and there. And it allows for a fresh config set every single update, which is really important because I do know a lot of other mod pack developers do not regenerate the configs, and some mod devs out there are pretty dirty with their configs, and they'll have stuff override stuff, and it becomes messy.
Yeah, there are other methods to do that as well.
Yeah, I do it a very long way, but I've had success with it, so I just continue to do it that way.
A lot of people use Git, and then when they commit the changes from the update, it's going to highlight everything that's changed.
Yeah, you can use Git if you want. I just don't like. I'm not a programmer, so I don't like that kind of stuff. So I prefer.
I think it depends a lot on background, right?
Making mod packs in the environment that we're able to make them in an FTB, having this massive group of people who are willing to take out their time to help you out in 1,000.
We have a lot more resources and time available than anybody else.
Yeah, it's a privilege.
It's really my full-time job. I'm paid to develop mod packs, so I literally put my 8 to 10 hours a day into mod packs, and
but could you imagine doing it without all the volunteers that there are to help?
I'm not saying I could ever do it on my own by no means.
Being able to do that in that environment is just. Because I think it's fair to say FTB has the most professional team now in Modpack development in Minecraft.
Yeah, we definitely have the largest team for sure. I mean, and as far as not being as much as a revolving door as some other, launchers and stuff and other Modpack developers. I mean, we do revolve.
Not sure if it's correct, but I think we're the only professional people doing it at the moment. I don't think anybody else is.
I don't know.
I don't think any of them are actually producing packs under their own name anymore. I could be wrong. I don't follow a lot of the other.
No, neither do I. I haven't got time anymore.
No, I don't either. No. I get people like say, "Hey, you should check out this mod pack by so and so," and I do browse a few mod packs here and there, mainly just to get ideas. But I haven't had time in so long to look at other mod packs.
Because it's such a time involvement to do that. I mean, Minecraft is not a game that you can play in 16 hours or 20 hours like a game,
Yeah, exactly.
If you want to play a mod pack properly, you're talking about investing significant hours of no matter, of your life into that to get a good feel for it.
Oh, yeah.
I'd say you can't get a good feel from any mod pack or any reasonable, open mod pack without at least investing 10 hours of your life into it. I would say maybe
every bit, yeah.
Yeah,
and I mean, as for example, as me being the Modpack developer lead, being on a paid salary is nice because honestly, if I was doing all this volunteer, I wouldn't be able to put in the amount of time that I do.
No.
There'd been no way.
We all put in quite a lot of time.
I wouldn't have. I would say I probably wouldn't disappear or anything, but I would no way be able to put in 40, 50 hours a week.
It's your full-time job,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So now it's my it's my priority. It's my career, and I'm able to keep the packs updated and stuff, and and then it keeps me driven as well because I'm getting a paycheck. So it's a win-win for everybody, really.
Yeah.
And we hope to down the road be able to have more paid staff for sure.
And many, many, many more mod packs in the future to come.
Oh yeah.
I want to be doing this forever.
Yeah, and I mean, and we're not just locked to Minecraft. That's the thing. It's we could always branch off in the future. Right now, we do just work with Minecraft, but doesn't mean that we would.
That's because there's not really anything.
There's
else
not.
We've looked into some other games, but there's nothing that's really stood out enough for us to get on board with.
There was one game that would have worked, and that was Kerbal Space Program. It's the one game that would have worked.
Yeah.
We couldn't get it.
Technically, we kind of already do that. Via our partnership with Curse.
Curse does it,
So
not so much with mods, but with mod packs, creating a mod pack.
Oh yeah, well
I'd love to be able to create a Kerbal Space Program mod pack.
I agree. I'd have to learn that game. It's got a steep learning curve, but from what I've played, it's been really fun.
I've played a lot of it, and there is a market for mod packs, but the developers of that game don't really see that. So
I know.
Mod pack developers aren't going to support you. Then there's nothing.
But that just goes to show that down the road, I mean, it might not only be Minecraft. You might start seeing
I've put in
other
quite
games,
a bit of time into looking at other games. I looked at Grand Theft Auto when that came out on PC. Rust was something we looked at. Ark was something we looked at. As you said,
City Skylines.
But the problem with a lot of these is they're all early access games.
I know.
They are, yeah.
We gotta wait.
Until they move into.
Yeah, like Ark. Actually, I could see Ark maybe being something down the road, but it's way too early access right now.
I've been told that Ark's already dropping off.
I know.
Ark is dropping off, although I think it will come back. It's a bit iffy at the moment, the game is. If you played it, I don't know.
Yeah, they have a lot of rendering issues, and my computer does not like it.
Same
and I've got a really powerful gaming PC.
I think
it just doesn't
may
like
be
it.
a specific issue to high-end computers, actually.
That's what I've heard. I heard if you have a 9 series chipset, you're out of luck with that.
Yeah. But yeah, we're looking at other games. With Arc, I think they're using Steam Workshop now.
Yes,
So that's probably not something we get that involved
yeah,
in.
Yeah,
it rules
you
it
go
us
Steam
out.
Workshop. There's not much we can do about it.
Yeah, just like
No.
that's City Skylines.
Because Steam
went
Workshop's
right into
brilliant.
Steam.
Like, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Steam Workshop with City Skylines is awesome.
Yeah, you just
It's
like,
really
I want
good.
this mod, boom, it's in.
Tick,
done.
tick, 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 tick. Job done.
You know, and that's
Yeah.
kind of, in a way, that's kind of how Curse is with making mod packs, to be honest. Like, that's what the idea is with Curse, is you just search for a mod and click add to pack, and it adds it. It's brilliant. It's really good.
Hence why Curse is going to be brilliant.
I know. It's really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Loving it.
let's move on.
Yeah, okay, so what's next?
A question for you, Kevin.
Okay.
It's something we have addressed in the past, but I think it's something that we probably should look at again. What happened to Influx? It was a mod pack that we were working on a long time ago.
What was it?
It
the
was
question?
publicly
Influx
announced.
is a pack that was being worked
yeah.
on specifically by IMAS. IMAS left to go to work for Curse at that point, so the mod pack, I guess, got halted. The idea behind Influx was actually one that originated with something that I came up with a long time ago, where we made a mod pack that was focused on one power system. In this case, it was on RF, so that in order to be in the pack, if you used an energy system, you had to be RF compatible. I think the problem with that is I'd like to do it, but that pack would be almost identical to Infinity.
You just remove
Yeah.
IC2
I
out of
think-
Infinity.
Yeah,
I think in retrospect, thinking back now, it would have been a mistake to do anyway.
yeah.
So,
But to be fair,
Well, no. Back then, it wouldn't have been so bad
There
because
was
Buildcraft wasn't RF
right,
compatible.
neither was Railcraft and stuff
Yeah,
like
there
that.
were several
That's
mods
true,
that were.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
in this age, RF is effectively the universal power supply with all
Yep.
but the exception of a couple of mods now. No matter what your feelings of RF are, that's just the truth. So there's probably not so much of a need for Influx right now, unless things change in the future. That's not to say it will never happen, you know.
Yeah,
It's just-
we kept the name, we've got the artwork. I mean, it's, you know,
not
yeah.
something that
It's just-
needs to be done.
yeah, it's just something that people have been asking, and we just wanted to.
Yeah.
yeah, no, of
reiterate.
course.
Now, I'm not sure if you guys will have answered this question. I know I don't. But if you could choose one feature from any mod, what would be your favorite?
Mine's
One
changed.
feature.
Yeah, mine's
Okay,
changed.
I
I
want to
have
hear
one.
yours.
Fast leaf decay is my
Is that
favorite.
not just the whole mod?
No, just
It
the,
is.
the feature. Well, it is the whole.
That's
but
all it does.
I love it. It's absolutely freaking brilliant, and I don't think we should ever make another pack that doesn't have it again. I'm not joking. Like I've
It's in
said
every pack I've done, so.
I think it's like
Yeah,
an absolute.
there's no reason not to.
It's fantastic. I love it.
Tyler?
What's that?
Do you have an answer, Tyler?
I'm probably gonna have to say the hang glider from Open Blocks. I love that thing. It's just such a simple little
Jetpack
thing.
and hang glider is
It's
awesome.
such a little exploit, and I love it. Yeah, you just get a little cheap jetpack. You just get yourself up to altitude, and you fly so fast. And all it is leather and sticks. You know what I mean? It's such an awesome little thing.
It was a good idea. That
You know,
one,
and I will say, while I'm on Open Blocks, is also the gravestones are really nice too.
Obsidian chisels as well. I'm really loving
Well,
obsidian.
now that you know how to use them properly.
Because obsidian chisels let you, so you've got like a wall in place. You can click on the wall and it will change 9 of the blocks cycling through the thing, so you don't have to break the wall and replace it. It's
Right.
like the Exchanger, but free.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's so much of a pain in the butt. It absolutely desperately needs a right click or a shift left click to go back a step in case
Yeah.
you go forward.
You have to cycle through all of them.
Yeah,
it really doesn't
that's just a nightmare. But
Yeah.
what else is there that's kind of that I've been playing about?
Chisel is just a fantastic mod in general, to be fair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chisel's awesome. We've been talking about these things that we've been discovering, the mind blowing things, the things that you just discover the first time and it just blows your mind. Like,
Yeah, the
I've
chisel
been
thing
going-
was one of them for sure. Because
which was what? Sorry.
the chisel thing was one of them for
Yeah.
both me and you just a couple weeks ago. Somebody
I
in your
love
stream told you, and you were like, "What?"
Carpenter's blocks. I
Yeah.
love the fact that you can hit a carpenter's block torch with a hammer and it turns into a lantern.
Yeah,
Never knew that. It's awesome.
I'm going to stop you, Kevin, before you get too carried away.
Yeah, okay, let's move on.
we could be on this subject forever if I don't stop
I
you.
love it. This is what I love about Infinity. I love the fact that there's still so much to learn and I never know it all.
Yeah, you learn something every day playing on it.
Yeah, I love the fact that it still excites me.
Just a question for both of you, slightly off topic, but I've seen it a couple of times in the chat. Teamspeak, we don't currently have a rank for the third-party Modpack people.
It's funny. Somebody asked me about that a couple weeks ago, and I was like, the reason we give mod developers ranks is not just for notoriety. The main reason we give it to them is so they have an ability to be able to create a room in the mod development section to be able to collaborate with their helpers and other people to have an area to work. As far as
we have Modpack teams, the same thing would apply, and I would have no problem in having a rank for that position.
I would honestly probably just give them. Well, it would be the same.
They would. I think they'd rather be identified as a Modpack dev than a mod dev.
It would be the same. It would be the same permissions as mod developer. You just be able to create a room and development. And maybe I'll just take it from instead of mod development, we'll just change that area to development. And then you can create a room there, and you'll have your own little letter next to your name or something. But I will say we will set minimum requirements from that. Like if you are going to have a mod pack, I'd prefer to see it honestly like on our launcher for sure, and possibly on Curse with a few downloads. Like we don't want just a couple
500 downloads. That should match it to everything.
Well, we have no way to track that on our launcher currently. So.
But we can track it on. I thought we could track it on our launcher.
Well, we can back in.
Well, I can't.
I'd have to
go.
No,
that's what I mean. We can track it internally, can't we?
Well, I don't want to go to Nana and poke them every time.
I was going to say, I'm not going to be doing that every single
day. I don't think there's that many to do it. I don't think there's that many.
No, I don't think there is. But honestly,
if we restricted the Curse mod packs, we can easily, just say 500 downloads.
It's not a big rank anyway.
We could do that on a case by case
mod pack, then that's fine.
We'll know the ones that will need it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so a possible rename coming for that. We'll have a talk.
Yeah, and I'm also I am looking at, for a lot of people that are asking too, anybody watching the stream, I'm also looking at doing a retired staff badge as well. No permissions will come with it. It's just going to be for looks, but we do have quite a few people that don't have FTB tags anymore because they aren't staff, but I feel like they still kind of deserve to have some type of recognition because they did help. Yeah. So we'll just give them. I just need to create a little logo that says like FTB staff or something, or FTB retired, something along those lines, and just something they can have alongside of their developer tag or whatever they had before, and just for looks and notoriety. So
yeah. The only other thing I want to mention is the content creators stuff. We're not doing that this month because obviously we don't have Chris here, and Leroy's still not very talkative. So
yeah, he doesn't understand that whole content creator thing.
No. I don't think any of us do yet. Do we? Chris is the only one that actually understands it.
Yeah, so we're going to wait for Chris for that.
If we don't understand, then Leroy's screwed.
It's either going to be next month or maybe even just in a news post. But it's something we'll come back to. We haven't forgotten about it.
That's something else. Before we close, I just want to talk about, we have discussed internally about probably not doing a town hall every month on the month. Yeah. We just sometimes we don't have enough new content. And we didn't really have a big docket for this month's town hall, and it had to be rescheduled due to some scheduling conflicts, mostly on my fault, but then some other team members as well. And we thought about maybe doing it like quarterly, or maybe just doing it as a needed basis. Like if we internally say, hey guys, we got a lot of new stuff to talk about, let's do a town hall in a week, and then we can check with our team members, make sure they're available, and then we can advertise it for a week and then do the town hall. And if you guys can't make it, obviously it's on YouTube. So I think we might kind of go to that schedule in the future for town hall. I definitely can go in and tell you for sure there will not be one at the end of this month because most of our team's going to be in Seattle for PAX Prime.
Or Canada or elsewhere.
Yeah, right, well, you're going to be gone. So it's this month's really hard, and this is technically supposed to be July's town hall, the one we're doing today. It just happens to be in August, but yeah, it's if we this month, like I've already talked to you guys about what we're doing this next month, so we really don't.
I would, looking at the thing, I would say maybe the next one was probably going to be around November.
I was going to talk about. I was going to say like maybe October or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind doing something very brief when we get back from PAX, if it's just me and another person or something, maybe to discuss the tournament.
So Jake doesn't yell at me. because he's been yelling at me for the last half hour.
Yeah.
He wants us to talk about very quickly about the FTB third-party Modpack permissions when moving over to Curse. Correct me if I'm wrong here, because I know that this is fairly complex. If you have a third-party Modpack on our pack and it's due to be converted over to Curse, as long as you have the permissions to move. So, right, let me make sure I get this right.
Do you want me to say it? Because I know exactly how it is.
Yeah, hold on, let me get it, because then I understand it. As long as you have the permission, as long as you have permissions for your mod, and the mod's general permissions are don't say that it's specific to FTB or specific to a launcher, then you can move your mod over to Curse, and Curse will basically take our word for it that you have permission to do it.
It's exactly
if you have a mod that in their permissions, as in their open permissions, not the permissions they've given us, actually that's not quite true. If in their open permissions or in the permissions that they've given us, there is something that limits it to a specific launcher, then we can't move that mod over to Curse unless that mod is already on Curse. I'll give you a really good example of that. Mistcraft.
Yes.
Mistcraft does not have Mistcraft has limited permissions when it comes to mod packs. However, Mistcraft is already on Curse. So because it's already on Curse, if you've got Mistcraft in your pack, you can move it over. If Mistcraft wasn't on Curse, in that case, you wouldn't be able to move it over.
And for the most part, about 99% of the mod packs that are behind a code on our launcher can easily convert right over. But there are a few exceptions. And
very few.
And you'll be notified by the third-party team right away if your mod pack can't, and they'll let you know why. But for the most part, I think pretty much everything that's been asked to be converted has been converted so far.
Yeah.
So,
And Jakuja, if you're watching, I was mentioning that, guys, if you're on YouTube or anything like that, make sure to do a manual update of your launcher if you need to. There is a new version out now. We've made a couple of cosmetic changes. We've now got cursors on there and stuff like that.
Just what he's specifically speaking about with that one is anybody running the old versions of the launcher, that's version 143 or below, updating was broken in 144. You need to manually update if you're on that version.
So
there's still some people running that need to update.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a long time ago, but I'm still sure there are people using it.
Yeah, we're getting there slowly, but we just mention it every opportunity we can, and then we'll get everybody eventually.
I think we've got to this point, guys, where we've discussed everything we need to discuss. Have you got anything else you want to say, Tyler?
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah.
No, I just wanted to make sure that they know that we probably will not have a town hall stream for the next few months, just because of all of our schedules, and we probably won't have a lot of new content to cover outside of what we won't cover in news posts and stuff. I might want to do something small when we get back from PAX, and I might use the official Twitch for it. But yeah.
For those of you that are interested, I know that some of you are waiting. I am going to continue streaming on my channel, Twitch TV/Slowpoke101. Those guys know what I'm going to be streaming. It's not Minecraft content. It's something else. If you're going to join, it'll be in about 15 minutes time that I start that stream. Otherwise, for everybody else, Tyler, Captain Nana, thank you very much for turning up today. I think it's been an excellent time.
And Leroy, don't forget about Leroy.
Don't worry, I'm coming to Leroy.
Okay.
For everybody who's turned up on the stream, again, it's been another fantastic turnout with some really good questions again. Thank you very much for everybody there. For everybody who's watching YouTube, hopefully we'll see you soon on one of the streams. However, for me, the team, but most importantly from our newest member, Leroy, thank you very much. Everybody who's been here. My name's Slowpoke. We're out of here. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
Good night, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.